Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm Jorge. I'm a security consultant from Argentina, and I'll be here presenting a kind of twisted attack for Internet Explorer. You will see why it's twisted later on. Here's a summary of what we will be discussing. First, I'll just introduce the attack results, what an attacker can do by performing the attack described herein. Then we'll move to a brief description of some well-documented features of Internet Explorer, some mechanisms that are known to exist and were designed in such a way that a programmer, a developer, can build applications based upon those rules. Then we will discuss some other features that are not so well documented, but they can be perhaps abused in such a way that involves a minor security risk, each of those features in and of itself. But then, in the next section, we will see how we can string all of these features together to build an attack vector. Then we will go in deeper detail about the overall impact that the attack vector has. We'll show a demo, and then we will see the possible workarounds for the attack vectors described. Well, as a successful compromise of Windows Explorer user will allow an attacker to have a blind but full access to every single file in the victim's local drive. By blind, I mean the attacker cannot know beforehand the exact location of the files because it has not the ability to browse the hard drive. But given the way Internet Explorer and Windows Explorer itself handles its internal files and how they handle the user activity, you can access most of the sensitive files through these mechanisms. Those files include binary files and text files. You can access also cross-domain information such as cookies for the website you're visiting and all of the history files. Backup files in network administration environments are really common. Files that the user has been working with recently, personal pictures, and other files depending what is the function of the machine that is browsing, that is being compromised. I mean, if this machine is an IIS server, you can try to access files inside the web root folder, or configuration files depending on which applications has the computer installed. Well, every web browser has its own design patterns that have been decided at design time by the developers. Internet Explorer has its design patterns, and some of these patterns are known to be there and are well documented, so developers can build applications based upon those rules. We will be reviewing here the security sum shim, the sum elevation rules for web applications, and the MIME type detection. Those are features that are related to the attack we will be exposing here. The security sum shim allows users or administrators to classify websites to belonging to one subset or another, and each of those subsets has different privileges regarding to which Internet Explorer objects that website can access. Yep. The question is for which version of Internet Explorer the attacks does work for every Internet Explorer version. All of the Internet Explorer versions share all of these features that we will be discussing here. You're welcome. Each of these subsets has a different set of privileges depending on how trustable is the web application. The security zones are known are the restricted site zone, the internet zone, the trusted sites zone, the local intranet, and the local machine in an ascending order of privileges. Then there is a kind of behavior that a web application or a web page can present that is known as zone elevation. That is when a given application that belongs to a given zone tries to load or to reference content that is actually located in a higher privileged zone. This behavior is only allowed for the restricted site zones. I mean, a site located at the restricted site zones could reference eventually a resource located in the internet zone, which is a bad idea because a couple of years ago, the first attack vector that in this line of attacks abused also of this feature. But for example, you cannot elevate privileges from a site located in the internet to a local machine or to trusted sites. That reference, that kind of elevation is not allowed. Then there is the MIME type detection that comes to play when you're accessing, using Internet Explorer, you're accessing a web resource. The browser has to decide how will be treated that resource. I mean, if it will be rendered as HTML, if it will load an ActiveX component to work with it, and to determine which action it will take, it uses an algorithm that is based on one hand the content type supplied by the server that is serving the content, and on the other hand, the decision is based upon a function that Internet Explorer has internally that is called find MIME from data, that basically scans a small buffer, 255 bytes of the first 255 bytes of the object that was retrieved, and then it takes the decision that how it will be treated. If the server supplied MIME type is unknown for the browser, the browser will treat the object that was requested according to the result from the find MIME from data function. I mean, if the file extension is unknown for the browser and this function determines that the content that is being trying to render is HTML, the browser will treat that object as such. In the case that the MIME type is either or known or ambiguous, the buffer will be scanned anyway, because the browser will not trust directly to the server-supplied content type. And if there is a coincidence between the content type that the server supplied and the content type the find MIME from data function has found, the browser will take action according to that content type. But when there is no coincidence and the server-supplied MIME type is known, I mean, for example, if the object that the server is serving is an HTML resource, is a content type text HTML, and the find MIME from data function cannot reliably detect that this is actually HTML content, it will take an action based on another thing. If there is no conflict between the base data type of the resource, where conflict is if the